The story that began with a single heartbeat and a leap through time is about to meet its end. The final chapter of Outlander is coming, and it promises to be more emotional, more brutal, and more heart-wrenching than anything we've seen before. The battles are no longer just fought with swords and muskets. They're fought with memories, choices, and love that defies centuries. As the final season draws near, secrets will unfold, hearts will break, and the destiny of the Frasers will finally be written. This isn't just another season. It's the farewell to a saga that changed the way we see love, loyalty, and time itself. Stay with me till the end, because what happens in Outlander when we last saw Claire and Jamie, the air was thick with tension and uncertainty. The American colonies were burning with the fires of revolution, and once again, history pulled them into a war they never wanted. But this time, it's different. This isn't just about survival, it's about legacy. Season 7 left us with moments that were both haunting and hopeful. Claire, strong as ever, stood by Jamie's side as the world around them changed. They had survived battles, betrayal, and even time itself. But the war was far from over. The final season begins with an uneasy silence, the kind that comes right before everything falls apart. The 18th century is collapsing under the weight of rebellion, and the Frasers are caught in its center. Claire's healing hands are once again tested as she faces the horror of war. Jamie, torn between his oath to protect his family and his sense of honor, must decide what kind of man he'll be in the end. Will he fight for freedom or for peace? Meanwhile, Brianna and Roger are trying to make sense of their own journey across time. Their story isn't just about escaping danger, it's about finding where they truly belong. The echoes of the past still reach for them, even in the modern world. A new mystery begins to unfold, one that could change everything they thought they knew about time travel. The tone of the season is darker, more mature, and deeply emotional. There's a sense that the world of Outlander is closing in. Every character is being forced to face their truth. The question isn't just who will survive, but what they'll become when it's over. And in the distance, the drums of war keep beating. The camera pans over the misty highlands, the blood-soaked fields, and the faces of those who have already given too much. The audience can feel it. The final storm is coming. Claire and Jamie are no longer the young lovers who defied time. They are symbols now, of endurance, of love's power to bend fate itself. But even the strongest hearts can break. And in Season 8, every heartbeat matters. Season 8 will shock even the most loyal fans. The world of Outlander stands on the edge of chaos. The year is 1779, and the American Revolution burns hotter than ever. Smoke rises from battlefields, families are torn apart, and history itself feels fragile, as if one wrong step could change the fate of generations. In the middle of this storm stand Jamie and Claire Fraser, battle-worn, bruised by time, but unbroken. Their love has carried them through prisons, wars, and centuries. But this season, it's no longer about survival. It's about finding peace in a world that refuses to offer any. Jamie, once a rebel and a dreamer, now faces the hardest truth of all. Even the strongest warrior cannot outrun destiny. He's haunted by the thought that every choice he's made has led him here, to the final fight. His name echoes through history books, but this time, history might not be kind. He's torn between protecting his family and fulfilling a promise that could cost him everything. Claire, the healer who defied time itself, carries the weight of every life she couldn't save. Her courage burns quietly. She no longer needs to prove her strength. She simply is strength. Yet in the chaos of war, even she begins to question how much a single soul can endure. The lines between science and fate blur again as she faces something beyond her understanding. Something that threatens not only the past but the future. Across time, Brianna and Roger walk a very different path. After stepping back into the modern world, they struggle to rebuild a normal life, while the past still calls to them like a whisper in their dreams. But peace never lasts long for the Frasers. A strange discovery, an artifact connected to the Standing Stones, draws them back into the mystery of time travel. It hints that their story is far from over, and that what happens in the 18th century could still reach through time and touch their lives. In Season 8, time itself becomes a character, unpredictable, cruel, and full of secrets. Every decision has a cost, and every sacrifice echoes across centuries. There's no clear line between right and wrong anymore, only survival and the hope that love can outlast history. As the revolution spreads, Jamie and Claire are forced to confront the ghosts of their past, both living and dead. Old allies return, long-forgotten enemies resurface, and loyalties crumble like fragile parchment. Every episode tightens the noose around the Frasers' world, leading to one inevitable truth: time travel was never a gift. It was a curse. But even in the darkest moments, love flickers like a candle in the wind. Jamie and Claire's bond becomes their only weapon against a fate determined to tear them apart. This final season isn't about changing the past, it's about accepting it. Because in the end, some stories aren't meant to be rewritten. They're meant to be remembered. They say every story has an ending, but for the Frasers, endings never come easy. Outlander Season 8 doesn't just close a chapter, it breaks the cycle. Every secret, every sacrifice, every tear shed across time finally demands its price. This season begins with a quiet dread, the kind that lingers before the world changes forever. Jamie and Claire have found a brief peace in a land at war, but peace, in Outlander, is only ever a pause before heartbreak. The American Revolution is closing in, and history refuses to let them rest. Jamie's destiny, the one he's been running from since the Highlands, is finally catching up to him. The whispers say that Jamie will face one last battle, not just with his sword, but with his soul. There's a moment where he must choose between saving the people he loves or keeping his word to the cause he once swore to serve. The outcome changes everything, and for Claire, her test isn't on the battlefield. It's in the heart. The woman who has healed so many must face the one thing she can't heal: loss. One of the most emotional storylines in the final season revolves around love and sacrifice. Fans should prepare for a farewell that will echo through the centuries. A goodbye so powerful that it could redefine what love means in the world of Outlander. But not all hope fades. There are whispers of a reunion that defies logic, one that bends the rules of time itself. An old face returns, one fans never thought they'd see again. This return raises questions that shake the core of the story. Has time been rewritten, or has destiny always known the way? Meanwhile, Brianna and Roger's storyline steps into new territory. Their discovery of an ancient artifact, something tied to the origin of the Standing Stones, suggests that time travel isn't random. It's connected, it's alive, and it may even have a purpose. This clue could unravel the mystery that's haunted the Frasers since the beginning. But it also carries a warning. Meddling with time comes with a cost, one that could destroy their family forever. And then, there's the war, the final fire that consumes everything. Friends become foes, allies fall, lines are crossed that can never be undone. Blood spills on both sides, and for the first time, the Frasers realize that history doesn't care who's right. It only remembers who survives. By mid-season, heartbreak hits. The loss that fans have feared becomes real, and Claire's world begins to fracture. But from that pain, a new strength rises. This is where the series shifts from survival to legacy. Not about how they live, but how they'll be remembered. Every character's arc converges in one haunting truth. Time doesn't heal all wounds. Sometimes it keeps them open. And as the final episodes approach, Outlander reminds us that love, no matter how timeless, must eventually say goodbye. At its heart, Outlander has never just been about time travel. It's been about the spaces between time, the ache of separation, the courage to love when every moment might be the last. And as the story nears its final breath, those themes come full circle. Raw, honest, and more human than ever. Season 8 doesn't chase new beginnings. Instead, it stares directly into the idea of endings, what they mean, and how they shape us. The show strips away everything until only the truth remains. Love is both a gift and a burden. For Jamie and Claire, time has always been their greatest enemy and their greatest test. Every journey through the stones, every lost year, every impossible reunion, it all led here, to a moment where love must face the one thing even it cannot conquer: time itself. This season paints time as something alive, not a tool or a trick, but a force that watches, learns, and waits. It bends for no one. The stones, the echoes, the visions, they're no longer just fantasy. They are symbols of how memory binds people across lifetimes. Claire's knowledge of the future has always been her curse. Now it becomes her mirror. She finally sees that trying to change fate only creates new wounds. Her strength this time comes not from fighting time, but from accepting it. Jamie's journey is one of legacy. He's fought for freedom, for honor, for his family. But this season asks a harder question. What remains when all the battles are over? He realizes that the stories, Brianna and Roger's arc, mirrors this truth in the modern world. They represent the future, the proof that love, pain, and sacrifice echo forward. As they uncover the secrets of time travel, they realize that history isn't a straight line. It's a heartbeat, pulsing with the choices of those who came before. Their story reminds us that we all live in the shadow of the past, and yet, through love, we can still shape what comes next. Visually, this part of the story feels quieter. The battles slow down, the storms fade. The camera lingers longer on faces, on eyes that have seen too much, on hands that tremble but still reach for each other. It's not about war anymore. It's about the people who lived through it. The tone becomes reflective, intimate, and hauntingly beautiful. In the end, Season 8 isn't telling us how to defeat time. It's teaching us how to live with it. It's about finding peace in the moments that remain, and realizing that love, no matter how impossible, leaves something behind. Because maybe that's what Outlander has been trying to say all along. Time will take everything, but love will always find its way back. Every great story ends not with a line of dialogue, but with silence. The kind that fills a set when the cameras stop rolling for the very last time. Behind the magic of Outlander Season 8, that silence carried the weight of a decade of love, friendship, and history. Filming the final season wasn't just another production. It was a goodbye. The cast and crew who built this world, who walked through the mud, the rain, and the centuries together, knew that this was their last dance with these characters. Each scene, each frame, was treated like a memory they were capturing one last time before letting go. Sam Heughan, who became the heart and fire of Jamie Fraser, reportedly said that filming the last few episodes felt like losing a part of himself. You can feel that in every glance he gives, in every word he speaks. The quiet exhaustion of a man who's lived 100 lives through one character. Caitriona Balfe, the soul of Claire, spoke about the emotional toll of saying goodbye to a woman she's played for over 10 years. She described the final day on set as beautifully painful. Laughter and tears mixed together, just like the show itself. Behind the camera, the production faced challenges unlike any before. Massive battle sequences were filmed in the Scottish Highlands, recreated to mirror the intensity of the American Revolution. Every detail, from the smoke curling in the air to the echoes of muskets, was crafted to feel both real and poetic. The costume department revisited iconic looks from earlier seasons, weaving fragments of the past into the final season's design. Even the music carries echoes of earlier themes, like whispers from the show's beginning returning one last time. But the emotion wasn't only on screen. Crew members who had worked on Outlander since Season 1 left handwritten notes on props and sets. Some carved their initials into wooden posts at Fraser's Ridge before the set was dismantled. It wasn't just a production ending. It was the end of a shared life, a family that existed between takes and camera calls. When the final cut was called, the set stood still for a moment, just the sound of wind through the trees, like Scotland itself was saying goodbye. The cast embraced. Tears were real. Even the director couldn't hide the emotion behind the lens. They weren't just finishing a story. They were closing a chapter that had changed television and changed them. There's also a sense of rebirth hidden in that goodbye. A prequel, Outlander, Blood of My Blood, is already on the horizon. It will tell the story of Jamie's parents, giving fans a glimpse of how this legacy began. But even with new beginnings, the shadow of the Frasers will linger. Because what Outlander built isn't just a show, it's a world, a heartbeat that continues long after the screen fades to black. So, as the final season comes together, it isn't just a production, it's a farewell letter to time itself, to the people who made it, the fans who lived it, and the love story that outlasted history. The cameras may have stopped rolling, but the echoes of Outlander will never fade. Every great story leaves behind questions, not because it forgets to answer them, but because it wants us to keep dreaming. Outlander has always done that. It has made fans question not just what happens next, but what if time itself has one more twist left to reveal. As the countdown to the final season begins, the internet is alive with theories. Wild, beautiful, and heartbreakingly possible. And some of them might just be true. One of the most haunting predictions centers on Jamie Fraser himself. Fans believe Jamie's fate has been written in whispers since the first season. The ghost seen by Frank Randall in the 1940s. That mysterious figure watching Claire before she ever traveled through the stones. Was it really Jamie? Many now think Season 8 will finally confirm it. The idea that Jamie's spirit transcends time, that his soul finds Claire across centuries, has become one of the most powerful theories in Outlander's history. If this comes true, it means their love doesn't just defy death, it rewrites it. Another theory dives deeper into the mystery of the Standing Stones. What if the stones aren't portals, but something far more personal, a reflection of the traveler's heart? Some fans believe the stones react to emotional energy, not just fate. That means every person who travels through them leaves behind a piece of their soul. Claire, Roger, Brianna. They've all left echoes in time. Maybe Season 8 will show those echoes finally merging, closing the loop that began decades ago. There's also a growing belief that Season 8 might break the rules of Outlander's timeline. What if Claire and Jamie's story doesn't end in the past, but in the future? Some fans think the final scene could show Claire back in her own time, standing at Jamie's grave, only to hear his voice behind her. It's the kind of ending that would blur every boundary between time, memory, and faith. Others hold on to the hope of a gentler goodbye, one where Jamie and Claire simply fade into legend, their story told through diaries, letters, and songs passed down by their descendants. Maybe that's the real immortality, to become part of history itself. Then, there are the theories that stretch beyond this story, connecting to the upcoming prequel, Blood of My Blood. Some fans believe the final season will plant clues about Jamie's parents, Ellen and Brian, and how their love story mirrors his own. A poetic circle, tying the past and the present into one eternal thread. But perhaps the most beautiful theory of all doesn't involve time travel or destiny at all. It's the belief that Season 8 will end not with death, but with peace. That after everything, war, loss, and endless goodbyes, Jamie and Claire will finally find rest. Not as ghosts, not as legends, but as two souls who kept a promise. To find each other, no matter where or when. Because in the world of Outlander, time doesn't separate lovers. It just delays the moment they meet again. And maybe, when the final scene fades to black, that's exactly what we'll see. Two silhouettes, hand in hand, walking into the mist. Not gone, just home. And so, after 8 seasons, 1,000 tears, and a love story that outlived time itself, Outlander reaches its final horizon. The flames of war fade, the echoes of battle quiet down, and what remains isn't the sound of victory or defeat. It's the soft beating of two hearts that refuse to stop finding each other. Jamie and Claire have walked through centuries, crossed impossible distances, and defied every rule written by history. They have lost children, friends, homes, and yet through it all, they never lost faith. Faith in love, faith in fate, faith in the idea that time, no matter how cruel, can never truly separate two souls meant to be one. As Season 8 draws its curtain, we are reminded that Outlander was never just a story about time travel. It was a story about endurance, about the kind of love that refuses to fade even when the years turn to dust. It taught us that love isn't about how long it lasts, it's about how deeply it changes us. The final moments of the show are said to be quiet, almost too quiet. No grand speeches, no endless goodbyes. Just a feeling. The feeling that everything, at last, has come full circle. The stones that once tore them apart now stand as silent witnesses to a love that refused to die. The past and the future finally meet in one heartbeat. And for the first time, time itself stands still. Maybe we'll see Jamie and Claire together in the afterlife, walking through the mists of the Highlands, hand in hand beneath a golden sky. Or maybe their story simply fades into legend, passed down in whispers and old songs sung beside the fire. Either way, Outlander ends as it began, with love that defies reason, science, and time. Behind the screen, fans across the world will watch that last frame and feel the same ache. A quiet emptiness that only comes when a story truly meant something. Because Outlander didn't just entertain us, it became a part of us. It taught us to believe that no matter how far apart we are, love will always find its way back. As the final music plays and the credits roll, we're left with a message. Simple, eternal, and unforgettable. Time can wound, time can heal, but love is forever. So, to the world of Outlander, to Jamie and Claire Fraser, and to the hearts who carried this story for a decade, thank you. Thank you for reminding us that even in a world ruled by time, love still wins. Always fade out. Soft music, a distant echo of Claire's voice. It's always been forever, hasn't it?